Hi, welcome back to Senior News. I'm B News producer Sydney Bowles, and this is our time once a month where we check in with what's going on at the Senior Center, events that y'all can check out, the wonderful things that Marge Yetman and her team put together. So join me in welcoming Marge Yetman, Senior Center Director, Council on Aging Director. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me once again on this lovely rainy day.
It is so rainy. It's so gross. But actually, we should talk about the weather because I know something you think about a lot this time of year is heat-related illnesses. So how do you start thinking about that around now?
It's the first warm snap we get. It's like, oh my gosh, forgot about the heat. And my thought is, if I'm really miserable and hot, a lot of the seniors are also miserable and hot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of folks that they don't own air conditioners, or they don't want to run the air conditioners because they suck up so much electricity and they can't afford it. And this is not fuel assistance season for us.
Right.
So they're kind of stuck with their bills as they come in. And I think that, electric bills can be as high, if not higher, than during the wintertime. So it's something to think about where they're not, they're just having fans going, or which is okay, but make sure that you're in the coolest room of your house and you're not overheating. Things like cooking, housework, all of that can be done at night when it's cooler, or early morning. There's basically three types of things you need to look out for. There's heat stroke, which is the worst, heat exhaustion, and heat cramps. Heat cramps are kind of obvious, right? You get cramps, and you need to go sit down. The other two, to me, the symptoms are almost interchangeable. That they could be either. But I think the basics are, if you get dizzy, if you feel like you're going to pass out, if you start to throw up, if you're not sweating, if you get a temperature, if your pulse starts to go really fast, any of that, call for help. Whether you call 911, or you call your neighbor, or you call a family member who's close by, call for help. Don't try to do it alone. Go sit in a shady spot, go into a cold area. If you have to get in your car and run your air conditioner in your car, do that. Cold compresses, cold washcloths are also helpful. And make sure you're hydrating. Make sure you're getting enough to drink. I know a lot of folks, as they get older, have continence issues, and so they drink a lot less water. This is not the time. If you're going to be outside, or your house is really hot, this is not the time to be worried about running to the bathroom.
And there are other resources in town too as well. If you're worried about it being really hot in your house before you get to that sort of medical emergency place, Senior Center's a resource. Folks can also go to the library. There are places to go to get cool.
And let's not forget the mall.
And the mall.
The mall is open hours. We're not open. And there's lots to do at the mall, right? You can get ice cream. You can get dinner, lunch. You can
do a little shopping.
Get some of your Christmas shopping done early, right? I think they're already bringing in the winter stuff. And there's lots to see. I mean, there's kids. You can go up to the play area where the kids are playing. People are walking the mall. There's just so many people running around the mall. It's great people watching. And if you're like my family, you come up with stories about people. So
it's so fun.
It's vastly entertaining.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the other stuff going on, because you, as always, have jam-packed June with all kinds of fun events. I am particularly interested in, you are having a presentation from somebody who climbed Mount Everest. Say more about that.
Someone climbed Mount Everest, a Burlington resident.
Oh my God, Tim Ego, is that his name?
Yep.
Ego?
I go, ego.
Okay.
I go, you go.
Somebody went, he went.
He went. He climbed Mount Everest and the 7 summits, and he's going to be here on June 12th at 1 o'clock to talk about that experience.
That is amazing.
I am so excited. I tend to not go to the events because I have too much else to do, but this is one I definitely want to sit through. This is going to be really cool.
Have you talked to him before?
I have not.
That would be so cool. I have so many questions.
One of our participants said something to Maria, our activity person, and she contacted him, and he's coming.
Wow, that's so cool. Okay, a couple of other things. Another event for folks to keep in mind: Joys of Nature.
Joys of Nature. Joy Marzoff. She's fantastic. We found her during COVID because she could do Zoom, and she has. She's very outdoorsy. She's very adventurous. She has gone to Belize. She has gone to, I think she's gone to the Australian Reef. She's just done all these things, and she is very, very attuned to nature, and loves nature and animals. So we've had her out to do a lot of things. And for the summer, we're doing Beautiful Butterflies of Massachusetts. And she's going to talk about why they're here, how to attract them to your yard, and what else is she talking about? Just going to talk about the different ones that we have here. So I think it should be really good. I know my husband and I have spent a lot of money this year trying to get flowers that attract butterflies and hummingbirds. So I think I will probably sit through that one as well and try to learn something so we can maybe zero in and narrow it down a little bit.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, I mean, having the butterflies in your yard is just so real. It's just so, it's cool, it's soothing, it's just fun to watch them bopping around along with the birds.
Yeah. And then you've got a couple of things that are sort of ongoing, not date specific necessarily. So talk about the farmers market, talk about computer classes, give us some of that.
Okay, so computer classes we've been doing since February. A grant through the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, through ARPA, with the COVID money. We got a grant from them to get to buy iPads and have computer classes. And Justin, who is our computer instructor, is amazingly patient. So he has been helping folks who have not been able to get the hang of it. Their phones, their iPads. And so we're going to continue the classes. So if you're interested, please sign up. And we're going to start, we're going to have a sign up for folks who just need like 1 or 2 classes, that just need to learn how to use their phone, but they're not, they've had them before, or they haven't had them before. They just want to know how to like make calls, use their text messages, keep it kind of more focused on, some people are still walking around with their flip phones.
Totally.
And you can't buy those anymore. So even the flip phones now have
right.
everything else, right? So he'll teach you. We also still have the tutoring. And we will have him through February when the grant ends. And so if you get on the bandwagon, if you want any kind of help, so you can sign up for tutoring on Thursday if you have like one question or if you have an issue, or sign up for the classes, because it's good to hear other people. And if you're having trouble, hearing that other people are having the same trouble is really helpful.
Totally.
Because I know people feel overwhelmed, and I don't want to say they feel stupid, but it makes them feel stupid because they can't get a hang of it.
Yeah.
And I know even myself, I didn't grow up with it, right? I wasn't, sitting on the floor playing with my mom's iPad. So I also have trouble sometimes, being comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So it's good to have the classes and to help you feel more confident. Farmers market. Leahy has been doing the farmers market for us for, I don't know how many years. I want to say a decade, maybe, around that. Well before COVID. And what the farmers market is it's CSA shares. So it's, I forget what does he,
Community supported agriculture.
Thank you. I knew I was going to forget that. So it's shares, and you get like 4 or 5 pieces of produce. And there's usually a fruit, and then like 4 pieces of
some varieties and seasonal.
Yeah, and they have mini watermelons. They do tomatoes. They do lettuce. They do carrots, onions, peppers, corn if they can. It's not been a good year for corn last year, so hopefully we'll have corn this year. Whatever they can get. And there's some other interesting things so people can, have fun cooking with new things. We are going to do it a different way.
Ooh, okay.
In the past, the first year we did it, people signed up and they came in to pick it up. And then I wanted to use it for people to be a little more social, have a reason to come out and talk to each other. And that worked great for years. And, people would talk to each other, and they would, they would share the recipe, and they would talk about, every week they come in and they'd say, did you try this? Oh yes, I did the recipe, it was fantastic. But in the last year or so, people are starting to get a little rude to these volunteers who are just volunteers. I'm like, that's not fair. So we're going to go back to the way we did it in the first year. And so we're going to have people call in June, the first half of June, and sign up. And then we'll come up with a schedule. And they may not be able to pick it up every week, but they'll be able to pick it up probably every other week.
Okay.
And they'll get their produce at the front desk. So we're going to kind of cut out the social piece of it, which is sad.
It's sad, yeah.
But we need to separate that a little bit. It's just getting a little bit out of control. Doesn't mean we won't bring it back next year, but for now, for this year, we're just going to take a break from the craziness and the chaos.
So get in touch with the Senior Center, set up your CSA.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, Marge, I do believe we've covered it. Oh no, one more thing, very important, 4th of July parade walkers.
4th of July, yes. Yes, absolutely. We need walkers.
We need walkers.
We need more walkers. Yes.
This is so the event of the season.
Oh my gosh,
all
it's so
of
much
you can
fun.
see all the kids, all the floats, everyone comes out and cheers you on.
And I think we have it over everybody else because we give out bubbles.
Oh, everyone loves bubbles. I love bubbles.
I had somebody a couple years ago. A few years ago, we were at the back of the parade, and not in the very, very back, but we were toward the back, and we're giving out our bubbles, and a woman standing there with her baby, and she's like, "Oh, thank goodness! I thought you weren't coming because we had the bubbles."
Everyone loves bubbles.
So you wouldn't think. I mean, talk about marketing, right? You wouldn't think that the COA would have bubbles for the kids, but I guess grandparents, with their grandkids.
Yeah.
I just, years ago, I was, I'm throwing out the candy, and the kids are like chasing after it, and then I'm hearing parents say, "Oh, you can't have that for whatever, diabetic or whatever reasons, or little kids with bubble gum." I'm like, what can every kid have? What can I throw out that's small, reasonably inexpensive, and that every child will love, including the babies? And so I came up with the idea. Thank you, Oriental Trading. I browsed through it and came up and saw the bubbles. I'm like, well, there you go. And so we've been doing the bubbles for a very, very long time. Anyone else who is doing bubbles is copying us, but that's okay. Most sincere form of flattery. So, so we'll be giving out the bubbles, and we definitely we need more walkers. We're a little particular about how we throw them out. We don't want to get them in the streets. And we want to make sure that the little ones are really getting the bubbles and not the big kids scooping them up. So we get a little more into, while trying to keep up with the parade, it's giving them a little bit more to the, throwing them a little more directly at the children.
So if you want a chance to make kids happy, get in touch, sign up to be a walker.
You want to hear the squeals and the yells.
Yeah. You want to get clapped for?
Not just the, oh, it's candy. It's, I mean, it's a very different, and it's really, I think the parents get as excited as the kids do.
Okay. Well, Marge Yetman, Senior Center Director, Council on Aging Director, thank you very, very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All of this information is available in the Council on Aging, or the newsletter,
Spotlight,
the Spotlight, yeah. So you'll get that in your, come pick it up at the Senior Center, and you can get all those dates and times
and it should be in the mailboxes in the next day or two.
There you go. As always, I'm Sydney Bowles, news producer. Thank you so much for watching.